Well, hello once again. This is Kevin Kyler with Environmental Inspection Dynamics. Today's education video, we're going to talk about cause and effect relations. So what's that? Something in and on the outside environment is going to cause an effect in and on the inside environment. So with that, let's push forward. So let's learn a little bit about science and facts that drive these cause and effects. First one up, in any structure, there are three primary damage functions. First one, as you see loading in, is moisture. After that comes heat and UV light. So what's this all about? Well, 80% of all damage in any structure is caused by moisture. Heat and UV light follow it in synergy. So let's look at some physical facts that water comes in. Okay, solid, liquid, vapor, and a strange one called adsorbed, adsorbed, adsorbed. Get it? To gather it on a surface in a condensed layer. And sort of a mystery begins, but we'll unfold it as we go. All right, some other physical facts. Moisture moves by vapor diffusion, capillary flow, air convection, gravity flow, and I put that in pink at the bottom, and a little by human beings. Have you ever seen what three little daughters can do in the hall, bathroom, bathtub by creating a whirlpool on the second floor? And what might happen to the ceiling on the foyer? Yours truly did. So yes, humans can cause that. Let's go over this. I'm having a little fun with you here. Thermodynamics, the second law thereof. In an isolated system, a process can only occur if it increases the total entropy of the system. Heat cannot of itself pass from a colder to a hotter body. Thank you, Rudolf Clausius. And I believe his sidekick was Lord Kelvin. Okay, in my best Tim the Toolman Taylor. What? Stay tuned. All right, thermodynamics. Let's try to keep it simple here, all right? Heat goes from warm to cold. Basically, I think people understand it. However, in addition to that, moisture goes from warm to cold. Moisture goes from more to less. Air goes from higher pressure to lower pressure, and gravity acts down. A little more. In thermodynamics, there's two other things you really should know. Okay, warm to cold and more to less are the thermal gradient and the concentration gradient. When you add those two together, you get the thermodynamic potential. So what am I trying to point out here? Listen, everything on this earth is looking for balance, and for that matter, everything in the universe, okay? And when it gets out of balance, that's when the problems occur. So hence, there is always a thermodynamic potential with cause and effect relations. All right, so let's start at the top with a roof attic assembly, and we'll work our way down to the basement, crawl space, and some stuff in between. Though what happens in attics when it gets really cold? All right, I'm going to pull my pointer up so it makes it a little easier to understand. You can see it says southwest corner view, northwest corner view. Let's start in the south. You can see there's solar loading going on at this point. And by the way, it's winter, and if I remember right, it was 0 degrees the night before. All right, keep that in mind. Cause and effect. Okay. Now, you look at the north side. Not so much solar loading up there. Gee, I wonder what can happen. And by the way, I also observe another thing. They do not have enough of these four things up there, which are called can vents, mushroom vents, or attic roof ridge vents. They just simply don't have enough of them. So I'm going to look at a few other things. All right, first off, on the side, I'm looking up and I'm seeing, boy, that's not enough entrance ventilation to go up through the attic and out through those only for can vents. Something else. Now, I got between the two properties, and I'm not spaced. I took a worm's eye view, and I'm looking, oh boy, something strange here. Look at this with me. See this? Look at these lines. That's moisture, and I'm going to guarantee you something. It didn't come from the melt off of this wrapping around and going down like that. No, 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 no. It came from inside the attic. So let's go inside the attic and take a look. All right, we're here. This is the north side. Look carefully. See where I got the pointer? See where that reflection is? That's dripping. It's very wet. Gee, think again. Where is that water going? All right, I took the temp gun out, pointed it there, 27 degrees. See all those little white spots? Those are nails that went through it. And that's frost on those nails. And you see those glistening spots? That's more frost. Now, went to the other side. And if it's cold outside, you can put your hands up against that. It's kind of warm. 55 degrees. That's what the gun is showing. Do you see any moisture here? No. Why? Solar loading. Remember, that's the cause outside creating the effect inside. Right? Back on the north side, we stuck the pin meter in there. It's hitting around, we're top scale, by the way. It's hitting about 23% EMC, equilibrium moisture content. That's how you measure the weight of water in wood, all right? And you can see all the glistening spots from all the frost occurring there. We went back on the south side. That's where it should be, around 9 or 10 EMC. By the way, again, a stop meter. Right there it says 15. That's the threshold point at which there's enough weight of water in the wood to support microbial or mold growth. One other thing I do want to point out, if you go look down here with me, there's not enough of these, what they call Duravents, Provents, that are coming up to it to let air come through. It looks as if this insulation is packed in a little too tight. So what happened? Well, we did take a test, a swab test, ST1, off that area. And what happened? Well, the lab's analysis says it's mold. And guess what? It's growing. All right. But what happens inside the house when it gets really, really cold outside of the house? Remember those cause and effect relations. All right. I put some, verbiage up here so you can see what's going on when it was done. Wow, it's 2009. It's been a while, and it was very, very, very cold. Okay. The week prior, I put this down there. The temperatures sustained around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cold. By the way, that's my client. He's a veteran, very knowledgeable man. We owe tribute to all our veterans. The reason I have his call is because he's got a 1-year-old son who's getting ill, and they don't know why, so they called me in to take a look. So let's go inside. Now, as you said, we are inside. Let's look at something. First thing I noted when I went inside is this. Again, the man's not stupid. He is just ignorant of something. He's a veteran. Let's honor that. Now, I go in, and this was actually set all the way up at 45. Oh, no, 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 no. If you look very closely, and besides, he's probably so entangled and so immersed with his young boy getting so sick, he doesn't know what's going on at times. You got to understand it with clients. At any rate, it says what to set the humidifier at when it's outside. It says minus 20, set it to 15. If it's minus 20, I just say turn it off. This instrument here is a hygrometer. It's measuring the relative humidity. And right now it's banging near 58. That's way, way too high for indoor humidity when it gets that cold. So let's go see some of those cause and effects. All right, here's the first one in here. Again, this is the temperature gun I've got, and I'm pointing it down there at this corner. All right, you don't see any ice in there right now, but hang on, you will. And then I take the hygrometer and I set it to what's called AH. That's that point. And the point below it gives you D, stands for derived dew points. The dew point is 51. The temp is 37. Okay, that's the temperature is under the dew point is 14 degrees. What am I trying to tell you? Any surface at or below the dew point will condensate, coalesce. In other words, moisture is going to gather on there. Problem is, you're really not seeing it. So let's take a different view of the same area. All right, pull a thermal imager out. Now you're seeing some things. On the scale, just to read this very quick, because this is just a qualifying thermal image. It doesn't have integrated radiometrics, which reads temperatures. At any rate, anything in blue to black is very cold or could be icy. Anything from red to white is very warm. As you can see, the areas above it are warm. Look at this. All right, that's the same thing you saw there. What's going on is that's ice forming inside the walls. Get it? That's part of the cause and effect relation. So let's look at other areas. On this one, yeah, I believe this is in the kitchen, as said. Pull the pin meter out. Oh, that's not good. She's showing around 30% EMC. And my friends, that is mold growing on there because the wood is saturated. Look at the cold drive coming in. All right? Or they should say the cold drive coming in. No. The heat going out. The heat going out because that's thermodynamics. Educate yourself there, Kev. Look at my red exploding thumbtack. You see that? Here's the sad part. What you see there was happening in the child's bedroom right next to the crib. That's the reason why the child was so sick. Kind of getting the points here? All right, some questions here. What happens downstairs in the basement? I should have made it a question. Boing, boing, boing. Remember, they are below grade. You got to think about that. All right, so let's move on from that point. Let's look around outside for those potential cause and effects in the basement. We have a church here. I'm going to guesstimate that this church is at least 100 years old. And I'll explain it as we get more into the slides of this, or I should say annotated digital picture plates of which you're going to see. First one up, all right? This area, I got to pull my pointer out. Here's pointer. Here we go. Don't let this deceive you. It looks like it's grading this way, but this grade here is actually going down. In other words, there's a drop off over here. That is not good. There's a cause and effect. Next one up. Oh yeah, by the way, when you see these end of the bricks that sit there every fifth course, that's telling you that is a solid masonry constructed wall. That's what they did 100 years ago, okay? What you got to know about that is it can take a whole lot of moisture via a lot of means, okay? So just understand it can absorb moisture via capillary action. Very important. Looking at this, that gutter should not be there. We'll see why. There should be a question mark coming up on this, if I believe. And yeah, let's see. Here we go. I'm looking at this outside and I'm going, those downspouts. Where is that going? To what drainage system? You got to think about those things. Now, I'm going to show you the perspective, and we're going to take a look from up here. But just to give you an idea, look at the grade and how it's coming down. This is not a good point. You got to be aware of that. All right. Look at this. You get an idea what's going on. You're going to see an annotated digital picture reference of how I outline this for the clients so they know what in the world's going on. So we'll get there. Now let's point out those causative issues outside. Here we go. Again, I do this in these annotated digital picture plates so people can see what in the world I'm trying to talk about in all the verbiage written. And again, validate that all downspout receptacle tiles drain out to a daylight situation or to a proper drainage system in the city. Here we go. Here's the important one. You saw these pictures. Starting here, I suggest a drain tile or water barrier curbing because you can see, go with me, look how this is going. And then you can see the lot is pitched that way. That's not good. And here it comes. Right down to here, down to there. Where do you think that water is potentially going? Now let's go downstairs and see those effects in the basement. Remember, gravity acts downward and so does water, obviously. All right, here we go. Now go through this with me. See my red exploding thumbtacks? That's telling you that that's microbial or mold growth occurring in those spots, all right? And then I'm also seeing signatures of staining in here or potential they had some moisture in it or a light flood, maybe an inch or so, and it's occurring in all these other spots. Now, I'm taking the surface moisture meter and I'm putting it on drywall. By the way, it's the bottom scale, goes 0 to 100, called the comparative scale. And on the drywall, it's going 65 to 100% MC. Drywall shouldn't be any more than 0 to 10% MC. Next up, this dark area is simply, it's mold growth, trust me. This should never be. That open sump, the pump couldn't have handled the water and it could have let some come out. We're going to see what could happen there. The other important thing is the hygrometer readings in that basement were 68% relative humidity. That is a good 18 points over where it should be. Way too high. That's another condition that sets up for what? Microbial growth occurring. You can see the structure of this. This is the joist, and this is the slat lumber that they put across in those days. It wasn't plywood or OSB as it is today in the thrown stone foundation wall. Next one up. Here we go. They actually pull these away to show me. I go, that is mold, period. Okay. And then I'm putting the moisture meter on the base, and now again we're top scale, and it's showing 22% EMC. What does EMC mean? Equilibrium moisture content. If you look closely at the scale, right over there in the middle is 15. Anything past that point is the threshold at which there's enough water in the wood to support microbial or mold growth. Now I pulled out another device, thermal imager. I'm looking at that window over there down in the corner. It's subtle, very, as I said, subtle cold anomaly, suspect of deep latent moisture, hidden. So I pulled the meter out, the moisture meter, and we're using the bottom scale on this one because it's drywall. What did it hit? It pinned the meter at 100%. So in other words, something's leaking in here from all that water in the parking lot rushing against the exterior walls. Get it? That's cause and effect relations happening. So we're closing here. So let's close with this. Now, let me read this out. The environmental dynamics outside are always changing the interior dynamics on the inside, of course. It's looking for what? Balance. Now, if you're concerned that you have a moisture intrusion problem, we have the non-invasive tools to find it. I never recommend opening up walls because you can open a Pandora's box of trouble. Don't do that. And you can call me. How? Well, here we go. Or you can email me. If you got to this, just add Kevin at, and you can email me. If you don't want to do that, give me a call. You can text me, leave me a voicemail. I'll try to call you back as soon as possible, okay? I love talking with clients, and I want to answer your questions. Hey, thanks for watching.